be generous and giving around the season.
This is why we need justice for Kevin. This is why me and Ryan were saying about the opening scene where it's like everything is Buzz's fault and Kevin's getting a bad rap. Like, I think
Welcome to Holiday Film Countdown. I'm Jamie Walter, and today we are going to Chicago and New York.
That's right. This film is Home Alone 2, our 14th ranked holiday film. Hello, I'm Tim Walter. Imagine spending $25,000 on your family Christmas twice and having Child Protective Services called on you.
Our first guest is Stephen Jannise. Hello, Stephen. Please let us know what you're drinking and give us a quick thought on Home Alone 2.
Oh, Tim, you're going to have to help me on what I just had. What was it?
Treaty Oak Bourbon.
Treaty Oak Bourbon. Delicious. First time. Thank you, Tim.
Great.
Quick thought on Home Alone 2. It's, I think, one of the rare sequels that improves on the original. I'm sure we'll get into why we think that is the case, but I think that's a pretty hot take to have. I know Home Alone 1 is a beloved film, and I certainly like that movie a lot, but for many reasons that we'll get into, for me, Home Alone 2 just takes it over the first one.
All right. Coming in hot. We knew that was coming. All right, and our other guest is Ryan Thompson. Hey, Ryan, what are you drinking, and what's your initial thought on the film?
I am drinking a gin and tonic. I don't know the gin, but it's a local gin.
It's Waterloo.
Waterloo. Okay. Delicious as well. Initial thoughts about Home Alone 2. I feel like it still has that same like nostalgia and fun, even watching it as an adult. So I just feel like it just ages so well.
Brings you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same here.
Well, I am also drinking a gin and tonic, and I'm glad you're enjoying it too, Ryan, because Waterloo is what I have quite often. Well, at least a few times I've had before, and I do like it. For me, Home Alone 1 and 2, but since we're doing 2, we'll talk about 2, is always good for a good laugh. That's just my quick synopsis on that one. I know that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be entertained, and yeah, I'll be laughing.
All right. And I am also drinking the Treaty Oak Bourbon, and I'm going to say it's here at number 14 because of the reason stated by these gentlemen, how it's such a quality sequel and popular demand. I keep hearing it. It came up a few times, including repetitively with these guys. So here it is.
Yep, here we are. Home Alone 2 was written by John Hughes, second of 4 in our holiday film countdown. It was directed by Chris Columbus, his second of 3 in our countdown. Home Alone 2 was released in 1992.
The movie was filmed on location in the Chicago suburbs and in New York and at Universal Studios in California. Specifically, the interior brownstone scenes were shot in Hollywood. Macaulay Culkin stars once again, and of course this is the sequel to Home Alone, and he's joined by pretty much the whole cast of the original. It also stars Catherine O'Hara and John Hurd as his parents, and Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the crooks, meddling as usual. Plus, Tim Curry makes a great cameo appearance, semi-cameo.
Okay, Stephen, what is your history with Home Alone 2?
Oh, wow. So I would have been 6 in 1991 when my parents, it's one of my first memories is my parents taking me to see Home Alone 1 in like around February, because that movie came out in Christmas 1990 and was such a hit. It just kept running and running and running through 1991. And so I do have a very vivid memory of seeing that one in the theater. And then they knew they had such a hit on their hands with Macaulay Culkin that they rushed, almost unprecedented, like how quickly they were able to get this one out in 1992. And so I think like a lot of kids, whereas the first one took me by surprise, the second one I was swept up in all the marketing for it and the selling of the Talk Boy, merch through the movie and all the commercials that were happening. And so I think it was one of the first movies that, as a kid, I was very much looking forward to. And, of course, I went and loved it and had a great time and couldn't wait to own it on VHS, which I did as soon as they put it out. So it's been a favorite of mine for really, like literally as long as I can remember going to the movies.
Nice.
All right. And you, Ryan, what's your history with it?
Well, I was not even born when it came out. Or my mom would say, you weren't even thought of. But I grew up very close with my aunt. She'll call me like her firstborn and et cetera. But their family, like my aunt and my two little cousins, they're super into Christmas as well as I am. And we kind of developed our own traditions, and we have a lot of stuff that we do around Christmas, and Home Alone just became a piece of that. Even to where, like, with my mom and sister, I'm like, well, I'm going over to aunties and uncles. I'll see you guys later. We have our stuff to do. And so we'll do like Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2 and kind of go back and forth. But like Home Alone 2 is always my favorite, and we just have a good time with it, and it's just fun. It's like a fun Christmas watch. So it's just kind of a part of that history. But another, I guess, funny piece of history is that before Steven had like come back full time to the Paramount, I kept mentioning how I loved Home Alone 2, and Nick was like, well, why don't you just send him an email? And so I sent him an email kind of like, Mr. Jannise, can you, I really love this movie, blah, blah, blah. And it was great to get his response of like, I also agree. I also love Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1. And so that's kind of like some of our first, I guess, history, like talk, because I really hadn't connected with you or talked to you much before then. And so we
you're
watched
bonded.
it sell out at the State too. And we're like, everyone loves it. It's a good one.
Yeah, sometimes I do the job in a vacuum of programming here at the Paramount, and it helps. I always love hearing from my colleagues, like what movies they want to see. And we had shown Home Alone 1 multiple times already. I thought it never occurred to me to show Home Alone 2 because it's not necessarily as beloved as the first one. And so just the fact that Ryan took the time to reach out to me and say, like, you know, I love Home Alone 2. What about that one? And so then we played it, and it sold out the State, and it was a great time. So
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Being just a little bit older. I didn't see Home Alone 2 in the theater, though.
Yes, you did.
We did? I thought we only saw Home Alone 1.
You saw it with me.
Oh,
Wow.
All right.
It's a long history.
I mean, I will have to say that
And apparently it was very memorable.
I know. I will have to say I'm more of a fan of Home Alone 1, which I do remember seeing. We do watch it when it comes on TV, do love it, but I won't say that it's one that I watch every single year.
Yeah, so you know my history. I saw it at the theater with Jamie in 1992, right when it came out. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I loved Home Alone 1, Home Alone. And it's been around, and I will watch it when it's on. And it's very well made, but we'll get into that.
Definitely. All right, let's check out the trailer.
Of all the familiar sounds of Christmas, surely this one is the most beloved.
It's in New York.
Hiya, pal.
You guys give up? Have you had enough pain?
The 20th Century Fox brings you what everyone wants most for the holidays. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I'm gonna murder that kid. Rated PG. Starts Friday, November 20th at theaters everywhere.
Okay, so if you hadn't already seen the movie, would you say that the trailer was good at getting your attention and wanting you to go see it if you hadn't seen it before?
yeah, I mean, I think it gets across what the movie is, which is essentially, I mean, it's the kind of sequel that wants you to know that they're going to give you a lot of what you liked about the first one again, but they're going to do something different, which in this case is set at New York, so that it's not just a complete repeat of the first movie. You know, you get the screams, you get kind of all the touchstones of the first movie. I'm actually shocked seeing that how many of the traps they give away.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, they only needed like one or two to let you know that there's,
Right.
FYI, there's going to be
That's
another
coming.
third act series of booby traps, and they ended
Right.
up doing like 5 or 6, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah. That was my, I guess, critique of it. It's just they showed a lot of the fun mischief, and there's not as much of it. I mean, once you get into Home Alone, the mischief is not the bulk of the movie. So it's interesting that they would show so much of that. And
Yeah.
a lot of the funny pieces that are like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They didn't show the lady in the park very much, did they?
They didn't show her at
yeah,
all,
they,
I don't think.
yeah, they barely showed, and the concierges, and they didn't show the bird lady or the toy store owner. So
True.
there's plenty still, you know, that it doesn't give away. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I just said, as a kid, it certainly got me excited.
Right, right.
You were in.
I was in, yeah.
Okay, let's go inside the numbers. Home Alone 2 grossed $174 million worldwide. It cost $28 million to make, which is a big number in 1992. That's a net profit of $146 million. but I would kind of call this a blank check film where the first one just knocked it out of the park, and we're going to spend whatever we want to. 3 different cities, on location, prominent landmarks throughout. Macaulay Culkin was paid $4.5 million plus 5% of gross.
Not bad.
So about $9 million total. But he was only paid $110,000 for the original.
Wow.
That's quite a raise.
And Home Alone 2 has a score of 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and we will all give our own reviews and scores later.
It must have been difficult filming at 3 different locations. I guess because of the brownstones having to, well, it was under repairs, right? So maybe that's why they made it a set instead of really in New York at the brownstones, you know?
Yeah, the brownstone was in Hollywood, the
Right.
inside.
Right,
But the exterior was real.
right.
So they were really, I don't know if they really went to Miami too, but they had to probably.
Probably
It's a great
Universal
range.
Studios, yeah.
In a trashy motel.
You can find that everywhere.
You can find that anywhere. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd really kind of shows the Christmas bump that you get over time, which I'm sure y'all encounter a lot on this podcast. But as Ryan said earlier
Yeah.
today, the Rotten Tomatoes score is 35%, which mostly from critical
Right.
reviews at the time were not kind. So I think consensus overall has improved.
Well, Stephen, you're the one who informed me that I should be using Letterboxd because there's some buy-in. You've got to create an account. You can't just go in there and bot it up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Definitely.
give it credibility there.
For sure.
And you're right. Some of our other high films, if you look at their original scores or the original reviews, they're like below 6 on IMDb,
Yep.
2.5 stars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And over time, like you guys have nostalgia here, they grow on you.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's go into the spirit of the season. How do we think they did with getting us in the Christmas spirit in this film?
One of the interesting things I picked up on watching this critically is that it doesn't have a lot of the Christmas pieces that like a lot of movies have, if that makes sense. I think in this one, they really let the set of New York kind of lead the way of like Christmas because you're getting Christmas in New York.
Right.
So a lot of the things you see in a lot of other Christmas movies, like, you know, the reindeer and carolers and elves and stuff, you're not really getting that in this movie.
No.
But you've got the plaza, you've got Central Park. And so it's kind of like a different take on Christmas, but it's like Christmas in New York, which is
Right.
super
Special.
enchanting and
Yeah.
special. But I just don't know if it's that way for kids. So I wonder, you know, in 1992 with kids watching it, if that's a piece of why they didn't maybe identify with it as much, because I think number one, even the mischief is like Christmas themed, whereas this one, it happens in a house that's
A
being
derelict
renovated.
New York
Right.
brownstone.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's interesting. But, you
Yeah.
know, you had the Christmas trees and
Yes,
all
definitely.
that. But
Yeah, the trees stood out. There were some great trees everywhere in the
Yeah.
toy store, Rockefeller Center,
Yeah, huge.
the hotel. So the trees were good. Even in the old fake movie, they had a
Yeah.
Christmas tree.
yeah.
But like Ryan said, no elves, reindeer, Santa.
I think
No
whatnot.
Santa, I don't think. Well, they had the Santa on the street.
Oh, the
Salvation Army.
Salvation
Yeah,
Army guy.
That
yeah.
was the only Santa, though.
Pretty much.
They start with a Christmas pageant, which is very nostalgic for me because I think growing up, you go to those, you're in those as kids. And so I think that whole scene set the table pretty good Christmas wise.
Yeah, I love at the very beginning when it opens up with the outside of the house and it's so beautiful with
Yep.
the lights and it just looks picturesque. I mean, of what I think of Christmas. And then they go inside and it's crazy hectic.
Yeah.
And I love it because outside it seems so peaceful and tranquil. And then inside everyone's running around, going crazy, trying to get ready for the vacation.
There's a lot of choreography there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. To me, it's like, yep, that's the holidays.
And that's even nostalgic from the first one of like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
that chaos.
True, true.
That foyer with the stairway.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the characters and actors. Clearly, the star is Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister. He was in Uncle Buck, of course, Home Alone, and My Girl. Any of those ring a bell, or any other Macaulay Culkin films come to mind?
Oh, yeah. I mean, My Girl was a big one for me and my generation. A tearjerker for sure.
The Bee Stings.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's, I think, one of those things as a kid where you see him in Home Alone 2, and then you're kind of like, okay, it's safe to watch a movie with him in it. And then you watch My Girl and a tragic ending, which is tough to see.
Is that the one where someone gets like pushed off of a
No, that's what was.
That's
That's the good son.
Isn't he in that one too?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the
Like-
pusher.
Yeah, he pushes his stepbrother. I remember seeing that and being mortified, like,
Uh-huh.
not Kevin.
Yeah.
I think he has a really good look for the part that he's playing in these movies in the Home Alone. He has a little bit of innocence, but a little bit of wisdom looking behind those eyes as well. So he pulls off his speech that he has to say to all the adults when he's talking, like in the hotel. And I don't think I'm here alone in New York. You know, just the way he says it, he
He's
does
so
it
good
so
at
well.
that, yeah.
Right? He's very good at it. I think just that face alone, just
Yeah, he's like a cartoon character. This is
He's-
like a
he's
live
got
action
those-
cartoon movie.
well, he's got those big lips and those eyes, and just I don't know. He just looks like a kind of like
Like he's drawn.
angelic child, you
Yes.
know.
All right. Well, let's move on. We've got his mother, played by Catherine O'Hara, Kate McAllister. Most folks now know her from Schitt's Creek. She was also a voice on The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she was in one of our honorable mention films, Surviving Christmas. What do we think of her in this film?
We also can't leave out all of her Christopher Guest appearances in Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show, which are iconic. I mean, one of the all-time great comedians who elevates every single movie that she's in, and she has probably the toughest part to play in both of these movies, because how is a mother who leaves her child at home not once but twice, kind of, how do you make the audience feel for her twice? And she accomplishes it.
Very true.
Yes.
And makes you laugh with her, and I mean, just her reactions and everything. I mean, she's the greatest in everything that she does.
Yeah, she's just so beloved. Everybody loves Catherine O'Hara, so.
And I think if you go on YouTube, there's a great video of her doing the eulogy at John Candy's funeral, where you see her. I think she's actually still makes jokes, as I'm sure a lot of people did at that funeral, but
Right.
she gets very candid and emotional about having come up with John Candy and how much he meant to her and everyone, and how kind and sweet he was. And you see a side of her that I think is kind of bubbling under the surface in both of these movies, the kind of emotional, caring part of her. But it's worth a watch if you won't ever feel like
Okay, so
weeping.
she was SCTV
Yeah.
with him. Okay. Okay. I remember seeing that.
I feel like she's got one of the most iconic lines, the screaming Kevin.
Yeah.
It's like when you think of Home Alone, you think of that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then her husband, Kevin's father, Peter McAllister, played by John Hurd. I mainly know him from Big, but he's been in over 100 films plus 100 TV shows. I mean, just a long time. Almost a character actor, not necessarily a lead. And he plays dad.
Yeah. I told you before the podcast, he was in a movie with Daniel Stern called Chud, which is a horror movie in the 80s. The two of them were actually very serious, like trained stage actors who wanted to break into movies and use this like crazy underground mutant horror movie called Chud to kind of break into the business. And then I do think he was probably hoping, and people who managed him were probably hoping, that he had a future as a leading man. I mean, he did the movie version of The Scarlet Letter, and he was the male lead in that. So he was certainly trying to position himself, and I think others were trying to position him as kind of a Liam Neeson 90s kind of leading man type, and I just think it never really came together.
Hey, I'd take that career.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like he's just so nonchalant.
Yeah.
It's almost like, does dad care? Because we were kind of laughing about the fact that you see Catherine O'Hara running around, but you never see the dad running around in New York. They actually don't show what his journey for looking for Kevin is. So you kind of forget, like, oh, yeah, Kevin's dad is there too. And then he pops up at the end.
It's the kind of fatherhood that I feel like everyone put up with until
the
recently,
90s.
where some people are probably like, you know what, I think, Dad, you need to try a little
You
harder.
need to step it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have another duo, Harry and Marv, played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. Joe Pesci, Big Time Everything, won the 1990 Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Goodfellas, was also in Epic, Raging Bull, Casino, My Cousin Vinny, and you can go on and on from there. I'm sure Stephen and Ryan have some other roles.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think everyone was shocked when he wanted to take this part. supposedly I don't know how the script got to him, but he read it and loved it. And he had, he recorded kind of Frank Sinatra-esque albums, at least one before his like movie career really got going. So he was by no means like a serious, totally serious guy. Like he had interests in other things beyond mob movies. So I don't know, that you watch him in the first one, he seems like he's having a great time. And I think maybe even the bigger shock is that he wanted to do it again. But I guess probably the money talked.
Yeah, and I've heard the stories about them trying to curtail his language and how he had to come up with his own mumbling version for the first one because that is not his normal inclination.
Well, he does it even more in the second one. I was going to say that's one of my favorite things. I even do it now to this day. And people don't always know. I'm just like, like it's so hilarious. And I didn't know he won an Oscar in like 1990. So to hear that he won an Oscar for Goodfellas, and then he was like, let's do Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But he's one of the best pieces of Home Alone. You can't do Home Alone without him.
I mean, we were laughing out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Stern plays off of him, but he's the catalyst.
Absolutely.
And so Daniel Stern, Marv, I know him from City Slickers, going way back, Diner.
Yeah.
And I loved The Wonder Years when it was on. I used to VCR record that show. He started as a stage actor, as Stephen mentioned, and he is very expressive with his face. He moves in all directions.
Yeah, I mean, I think with both of these guys stepped away and let their stunt doubles do quite a lot of these things. But I think with Joe Pesci, you know that, whereas with Daniel Stern, I'm mostly convinced that he had all this done. It's like he does it so well that like I feel the pain that he's going through. He's just clearly giving a great slapstick performance, and I don't know if anything before these movies would suggest that he had that in him, but I also am a big fan of City Slickers as a 90s kid. I watched that movie 9 million times. So he definitely was a big part of the early 90s.
Yeah. I think super, super physical in this one. My family and I were talking about this when we watched the first one over Christmas. That one was a little harder to decipher, but I think in the second one you kind of understand. But who do y'all think gets it the worst? Like, who gets tortured the worst? I think in this one it's Marv.
I agree.
Absolutely, with the bricks.
Yeah.
And then you can't recover from that.
And
the
turning into a
brick.
skeleton.
Yeah.
Electrocuted.
What about the first one?
The first one was harder to tell.
Pretty equal,
I think it was pretty equal.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
like Harry went through it in the first one as well.
He got burned.
And I love how he still had the M.
He still has the M
in
on
his
his palm.
hand.
Burns
I don't know.
That pain lasts for days.
Oh yeah, I mean he
versus
was.
a concussion.
What do you call that? Branded.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an M.
Yeah, he was branded.
For me, the foot stuff that Daniel Stern goes through in the first one, the nail and then stepping on all the
yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
ornaments,
yeah.
The
that to
sound
me
of
is
it, too.
oh
Yeah.
god,
The sound of that part.
rough.
Yeah,
Real rough.
That's true.
All right, and then another one I know that stood out here was Tim Curry as the concierge, Mr. Hector. We know him from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I recall him as a kid as the bad guy in Annie.
Yeah, Rooster.
Rooster, that's right, with Carol Burnett.
Yep.
So I know we loved him. What do we think?
I mean, what a get for this movie. Iconic, and for him to come on and play this smaller part. And I mean, perfectly cast for it. It's giving like the energy of Clue, which he also was in and did kind of a similar part as this, kind of bumbling, running around and screwing up, but just absolutely perfect. No notes.
No.
Another cartoon character.
Yes.
Yeah.
They compared him to the Grinch, which was hilarious.
I mean, how many humans have a mouth like that?
Yeah, definitely.
That wide. All right. Any other characters stand out? Any minor characters step it up, or anyone leave something out here, or they all show up?
I mean, I think Brenda Fricker as the Bird Lady is just interesting because it's kind of this age-old tradition of an actor winning an Oscar for kind of a smaller film and then, figuring out where can I go kind of cash in on that and get some bigger role in a bigger movie. And so she won an Oscar for My Left Foot with Daniel Day-Lewis a few years before this, and then took this part. I mean, she's such a great actress, and you could argue that the bird lady role in this movie is a little underwritten, especially for someone of her talent. But in the kind of brief moment she has with the part, she does something with it that I don't think many others could have done. And that role, you could easily see that role becoming something that drags this entire movie down, because it's just a little bit weird and it can go in so many different directions that are like not pleasant. And I think she really did a balancing act with that part and did it really well.
Yeah, it's tricky to, like you said, not blow up her role a little bit. Mm-hmm. But we've got so many storylines.
Yeah.
Parallel.
Mm-hmm.
At least 4.
Yeah. Yeah, and Eddie Brack as Duncan, Mr. Duncan, the toy store owner, who was kind of a Mickey Rooney-esque star in the 40s in a lot of movies like Miracle at Morgan's Creek by Preston Sturges, the great like golden age Hollywood director. And so he brings actually that energy of kind of those older black and white Christmas movies that we also love, and again in a very brief part, but kind of feel that coming off of him, that like It's a Wonderful Life, Meet Me in St. Louis, like that era of Christmas movies. He brings that to that part, and it's another great little few moments in the movie.
Yeah, I had recognized him as Roy Wally from National Lampoon's Vacation, like 1983-ish, and that's really where I knew him from. And that's John Hughes. Mm-hmm. So John Hughes tends to be loyal to his folks.
Yeah, and also kind of a interesting steward of golden age Hollywood, because in Christmas Vacation he also had Mae Questel as Aunt Beth, who was the voice of Betty Boop.
Oh wow!
Which you can.
Oh, Aunt Bethany.
Aunt Bethany. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he likes
that squeaky voice.
Yeah. You can hear it. You can hear it.
Yep.
So he liked to recruit some of those older actors and take some of that energy that they brought, which I think is always great.
Well, I think in the first one, too, you have the neighbor that is kind of parallel to the bird lady. But in this one thing that stood out to me, even as a kid, but even more so now, is like the super adult conversation that they had. I mean, she was talking to him about like, you know, I used to have a job and I was in love and now I'm not, and all these different things. And I really appreciated that kind of in the midst of this, what was a children's movie, but you still had like nice, really good nuggets about life and humanity. And I think they did a really good job of kind of showing humanity in such a short amount of time, particularly the scene where they're at the symphony or the Philharmonic or whatever. But it's like they captured it within just a couple of minutes, and you could see Kevin getting it at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's one of my, I guess I would say, sappiest scenes for this, is because she's like, now no one even looks at me, or something like that. The language that she was using, I was just like, oh, you know, it's got to be hard, because even though people go through hard times, some people's hard times are harder than others, but we're all still human, right? And you really got a sense of that. And it did kind of pull on your heartstrings a lot at that point. So I totally agree with what you're saying. I think we'll move on to scenes. Are y'all ready? Say enough about the characters?
I guess we'll get into Uncle Franco who hit scenes.
Well, I think one of the funniest scenes that I like is when they're at the police station and they're reporting that they left their son. And, like, that would just be so tragic, right? But yet they make it so funny. And I love how they can twist it into comedy and be like, well, actually, we have lost him before. This is the second time. But we've never lost our luggage, you know. I love that. I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of your memorable or funny scenes that you like?
I mean, again, I think
There's
it's impressive that they redo some of the same stuff from the first movie, and it feels fresh or different. And I think for me, bringing back the old gangster movie, but this time it's the sequel, which is a nice touch of the previous gangster movie, Angels with Filthy Faces or whatever it's called. This one's Angels Even Filthier Faces. But this time, instead of, you know, random pizza delivery boy or whatever, it's Tim Curry and the rest of the hotel staff. And just that whole scene led by Tim Curry is so great. And again, it's like they gambled that people wanted more of that, and it worked in this movie.
That's tough to pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could go on forever, baby. I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. We're looking for a young man. All right, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me. On your knees. I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you. Maybe I'm off my hinges, but I believe you. That's why I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3 to get your lousy, lying, low-down, four-flushing carcass out my door. 1, 2.
How about you, Ryan? Any scenes? What were your favorite scene? What was your favorite scene?
Mine, well, I love the entire mischief part, but my favorite is when Marv turns into a skeleton. He's like getting electrocuted, and that Marv scream that he does is so funny. But like that particular scene of just like, I feel like it jumps into almost like cartoonish or like surrealism in the middle of this movie that doesn't have any more pieces like that. So it's really fun to watch that happen because that's the only time it happens. You know, you're not seeing anything super silly jump out of the screen in that way.
Right.
I agree. That along with some of the sound effects during the mischief. And it goes on and on and on.
Yes.
The first one, I haven't timed it, but it's got to be close to double the first one.
That's
I
what I love about it. I was gonna say the same. The first one's like, when you really watch the first one, it's like 20 minutes of mischief, maybe 10, 15. This one's like double that, and he just annihilates them. Just goes all in.
Yep.
Yeah, I really like how they somehow pull it off again where they get separated. It's very clever. And then they trip you up a couple of times where you're like, oh, same thing's going to happen. Oh, no, it didn't. Like counting in the van.
Oh, yeah. You think Kevin's left upstairs,
Right.
but then
Exactly.
he's in the passenger seat up front.
Yes. I love those nods of like, not this, but this.
Yeah, it's almost an Easter egg where everyone knows the first movie.
Right.
So here we are.
You're like, how are they going to lose him again?
Yeah. I think it's so interesting how the family uses, I don't know what to call it other than the telephone messaging system where they go down the line. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, when they're passing the
Yeah,
bags.
passing the
Yeah,
luggage.
they're
Yeah.
passing the
That's
luggage,
great.
you know, and they did it when they're sitting in the pageant and they're like,
Oh,
Kevin's coming
Oh,
on.
yeah, yeah.
And they're passing it there and they tell each other, they go
Uh-huh.
down
They're
the
playing
line,
telephone,
right?
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, telephone,
Yeah,
right? Like they're playing
foreshadowed.
telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
I like any scene with Fuller because they just play up that whole bedwetting thing so well.
Oh, yeah.
And I love how in the hotel with 14 people, he gets
He's
the
in the bed
king-size
by-
bed right in the center
Yeah.
with his Cokes next to him. By the way, he switched from Pepsi to Coke from
Yeah.
1 to 2.
I really hadn't noticed that until you mentioned it before the movie, and that's actually so funny because I think, as we all know, Coke is worth more than Pepsi, and so they settled for Pepsi in the first movie. Then it became a massive hit, and they're like, "We're upgrading to Coke."
They got
It's
those
really funny.
big checks.
Any other scenes y'all want to discuss?
I mean, I think everything with the turtle doves is great, and I think when it culminates in the park, it's very moving.
I was going to say, yeah, the park scene is good. And her,
He wraps it up.
yeah, he wraps it up. And
And I think
similar to
certainly
the
as a
first
kid,
one.
like waking up in the plaza and having a million presents. I mean, watching that moment as a kid is just like, how do I make this happen for myself?
Yes.
Sorry, Ryan, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say similar to the first one where he's kind of finished and he gets caught one last time. And you think,
Oh.
you know, the bad guys are about to win. And then the savior comes out and saves them same way in the first one.
Yeah.
Neighbor comes with the shovel
Oh, yeah.
versus in the second one where the bird lady comes with the bird feed.
Quote unquote vagabond comes along.
Yes.
Saves the day.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
You've
And
gotta
the
have-
birds attacking them.
In any thriller, doesn't the protagonist have to be at the peril or the mercy of the villains at some point?
Sure, yeah, of course. That's where the
how it
tension
works.
comes from.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, let's move on to quotable lines. Does anyone have any quotable lines they want to bring back?
Another favorite one, and it's just small, but when he catches them and he's like, let's take a stroll in the park. I say that a lot of times too, and people don't know what I'm saying, and I'm just like, never mind.
So you bring that into real life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'll be watching for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's hard. So many of the quotable moments in this are like Ryan already said, or Catherine O'Hara screaming Kevin and that sort of thing. And we did it again, you know, when they wake up late.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie stole mine. It's when Peter, the dad, says, "Funny enough, we never lose our luggage."
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. And they're laughing about it. Like, oh my God. All right. Well, I think the moral of the story, I'm going to go with the grass is greener on the other side. Because even Kevin at the end says, even though I really wanted them all to go away, now I'd give anything to have them back. If I can't have all of them, at least I want to see my mom. And he was like, even Buzz, you know. So I think sometimes we wish things and we want things, but it's surface level, right? We don't really want it. It sounds good at the time. I kind of was seeing a little bit of that theme going on, and also that it's actually better with others, right? Sometimes, like Kevin, he wanted to be alone, but then he said he realized it's really not that much fun. Anyone get anything else?
No, I think you nailed it. I mean, it's like we were saying. I mean, it's verbatim the message from the first one. It's like no one learned anything, and so everyone needs to learn this again.
Yeah.
Which again is something that usually doesn't work. Like the greatest sequels, normally they use the first one as a jumping off point, and then their characters continue to grow or go in different directions. And so this one,
True.
it's the same moral.
Yep.
And it's like, let's all learn this time, hopefully.
And both a quote and a moral. Don't mess with a kid at Christmas time.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good one.
Yes.
Learn from that.
Yeah.
They're very determined.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that sticks out, I don't know if it's like a moral, but Kevin is just so resourceful as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think you see that in number 1 and number 2 even more so. And I think watching it as a kid, it made me want to be like, I need to tinker with things and make things happen. And they really drive that home, like resourcefulness and using what's around you.
Making the most of the situation.
Making the most of a situation, yeah.
Yeah,
Finding tools and chemicals.
Yeah. Well, because another quote is when he's like, I think he's like, I made my family disappear, like sadly. And then he says it, I made my family disappear. And he's like all excited.
Right,
It's
right.
kind of like the opposite of what you said, where he has a moment when he's like excited
Right.
about it. And then
Right.
it kind of comes back around and he's like, no, I think I want them here.
Yeah. I'd rather wake up Christmas morning with them, right? In the end.
Yes.
Yeah, the "don't mess with kids" line reminded me just now watching it. It's like there's so much chaos and silliness in this movie that the scene I always forget, and then I'm reminded of it is when he stops by the hospital and sees like the kid in the window.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid that devastating me, thinking like what it would be like to be a kid in a hospital on Christmas. And then now I have like my own 13-month-old kid, and like I don't know, that scene really got to me this time in a way that it hadn't before.
Look at that.
So
Yeah.
That's an interesting introspective moment for him to, I think maybe that's when he finally learns the lesson. He's like, your parents, your family might be annoying, but how lucky are you to be with them at home on Christmas? Everyone's healthy and that sort of thing. So,
Right. And just to have a family, right?
Yeah.
Because like the
Yeah.
bird lady didn't have anyone.
Right.
So it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, well, at least I do have a big family.
yep.
And generosity, that part too.
Yes.
I mean, he like,
Right.
he tells her, I won't remember to forget you. And he comes back and brings her turtle doves. And with Mr. Duncan, him giving him like the extra $20 and making sure that they didn't steal the money for the kids at Christmas. I think that's another moral too, is to be generous and giving around the season.
This is why we need justice for Kevin. This is why me and Ryan were saying about the opening
Exactly.
scene where it's like everything is Buzz's fault and Kevin's
Yes.
getting a bad rap. Like I think
Yes.
actually in both movies, Kevin is more or less a sweet kid, and it is all Buzz's fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is Buzz's
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
But we didn't cover this in actors, but he does a great job as Buzz.
Oh yeah.
His testimony in the mock trial at the kangaroo court, whatever that is in the house, and just the way he plays the role.
That certain kind of role, the like bully role or like, you know, the mean big brother role or something. It's like there's a face that you need for that. And I can just imagine them doing auditions and seeing that face walk in the
Going,
room and be
yeah,
like,
that
I don't even
haircut.
need you to
Yeah.
talk. Like,
face and
we
the
got
haircut.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call
That's
it a
the
day.
guy. That's him.
And one final part on the moral, the loyalty in the end, because the lady with the birds expressed in the theater that, will you remember me? And then he does.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Good kid.
Yep.
all right, hot takes. Anyone have any hot takes on this one? Or we all just love it?
I think the fact that we put it at number 14 on this countdown is a pretty hot take.
All right. Here we go.
I think the same as number 1. I think it takes incredibly too long to get to the mischief, personally.
Uh-huh.
I do love the other parts and they're important to the movie, but especially as I'm older and you're just waiting for it and you know what you're waiting for, I do think there's a little too much lead up to that part. And there are a couple things that could have been like taken out.
Okay. Or streamlined or
Or
something.
streamlined and yeah.
Yeah, this is a 2-hour film.
Right. But it still kind of flies by. Like everything happens super, super, super quickly. So it's like, well, I don't know how they could have tightened it up, but I think
But
they
you want
can.
them to.
I want them to. Yeah.
It's so funny. I'm just imagining you as this little boy. You must have been full of mischief.
Oh yeah. That's why I love
You
mischief.
keep bringing it up. I could just imagine.
Yeah, I'm like, let's hurry up and get to the good
I
stuff.
I could see you.
Yeah.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
Same
love
big
it.
head and everything.
Well, I think for me, I don't know if this is a true hot take, but I feel like when they were up in the theater in the attic, I guess, I don't know where they were,
Rafters.
but the rafters, right? I thought Kevin was going to give the turtle doves then, and I felt a little disappointed. I'm like, like before he left, I thought he was going to share it then. Of course, he ends up doing it later, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll give it to him. But I was like, come on, where's your heart, dude? Give her the turtle dove.
Was that before the children's hospital scene or after?
I think it was before.
I think that was before.
Before,
Yeah.
yeah.
He needed to see that kid in the window.
Yeah, they needed
that's
their
true.
relationship needed just a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Guess so.
And after she saved his life, he was like, all right.
Okay, now
Turtle
you're
dove for
worthy
you,
of my
yeah.
turtle dove.
Turtle dove for you.
Then he was like, is this 18 karat or what kind of gold is this?
Oh, Kevin.
No others? Okay. Well, then we'll move on to the parent guide is PG, and I think it's appropriate. I don't see anything wrong with PG.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting because it's on the one hand, I think obviously kids today are even less, I mean, they're seeing everything. So I wouldn't worry about this movie at all. But at the same time, I do feel like I've heard people talk about it's like there's no blood, but just the actual physical violence of the
Violence,
movie
yeah.
is a lot. And I can imagine there being some parents who would be opposed to that, even though it is just in the long tradition of Charlie Chaplin and Looney Tunes of people,
Right,
people
right.
getting into great physical harm but coming out unscathed. So
Yeah.
I think it's a fair rating.
And there's a couple of pieces, like when he grabs the ladies, like,
Uh-huh,
butt and they punch him. I think when he's walking through the park and there's, all the people that are like strung out and all, there's like a couple of things that are like, in the 90s, I think it was okay, but now it's just, I don't think that would make it into a PG movie. So I think kids can still watch it. I just don't think, in 2025 that those pieces, they would have just gotten cut. They would have been
Oh, you
like,
think?
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
'Cause there's a
Or
lot
it would
of-
be PG-13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because there's a lot of like adult themes in this one, especially watching it as you get older. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a lot of stuff that kids just wouldn't get, or
Right.
that are just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I think certainly the Tourism Board of New York or whatever wouldn't want a movie suggesting that after dark you wouldn't want to be walking the streets or the park of New York.
No city wants that.
No.
Yeah.
No, even though we all know, we probably wouldn't want to do that.
All right. Soundtrack. So prominent, really dominating the film is John Williams' score, which is a reprise from the first one for the most part. I researched and saw that there were little vignettes that were variations on the original, but they pretty much stuck to it,
Yeah.
and that makes it great. It's
Yeah.
always there. And then in addition to that, we had a couple of traditional Christmas songs at certain scenes. Andy Williams, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Johnny Mathis, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. And any thoughts on the score?
I mean, it's just one of John Williams' like 59 iconic scores, and how lucky for this relatively smaller Christmas movie that they got to have that original score. And when I was introducing Home Alone this year, I think I had mentioned that in the first one, they had hired someone else to do the score. Even he got so far as his name was on the poster in movie theaters everywhere announcing a Home Alone was coming. And then they decided it didn't work out. They removed it. I think they were going to go purely with Christmas songs. And then somehow John Williams was in a test screening at a studio and was like, "Oh, this movie, I like it, and I think it needs music." And then he just volunteered to do it.
Wow.
I love that.
Wow. Yeah.
But I mean, I think the whole trajectory of this movie, first one and the second one, would have been different without that music.
Yeah, it adds to the experience, and it gives slapstick at the right times, and it gives nostalgic at the right times. I just watched the first 2 Harry Potter movies for the first time ever. Hot take. And Chris Columbus is the one who directed those as well. And I noticed that the music in Harry Potter is also similar in a lot of those scenes. And I wonder, is it the same?
John Williams.
Okay, no wonder. Oh, so I didn't do my homework. I just thought that was interesting too, and kind of made me think: are they like a duo, or do they work together often? But it has a similar vibe, which I thought was interesting.
He goes way back. I know he was Jurassic Park, right?
Jurassic Park, yeah.
What about 80s? Was
John Williams?
E.T.?
Yeah, I mean, well, any Spielberg movie. So E.T., Indiana Jones.
Raiders.
Culminating the Star Wars trilogy, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Raiders. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, nonstop.
resume.
That's a tone setter.
Superman.
Yeah.
And
Superman.
then Home Alone.
Oh my
Cool.
gosh.
That's awesome.
That resume. Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great documentary about him on Disney Plus, actually, right? Music by John Williams about the whole career. Fascinating.
Have to check that out. All right. Are we ready to rate it? I think so. All right. What do you think? What are you going to rate it? 1 through 5?
Remember, Letterboxd is 3.5, and we can do decimals. We don't have to stick on the
Yeah.
0.0, 0.5 convention.
I'm going to say 4.
Ooh. Wow.
All right.
Ooh. And Ryan?
I'm going to say 3.7. Just to be a little bit above Letterboxd and a little bit under 4.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a 3.5.
Okay. And 3.8?
So we average around 3.8.
I think it's right under 4.
Yeah.
So well made.
It is.
So well acted and so rewatchable.
Yep.
Yeah. And so fun.
Yep.
It
It's
is.
just a good time all around. And a really good cast.
Yeah.
A stacked cast
Definitely.
for a kid's mischief movie.
All right. Well, would you, I feel even silly asking this, would you recommend this film?
Absolutely. I have
Always
many
do.
times.
Over
We
and
recommended it
over?
to the entire city of Austin.
Yes. And I love getting into conversations with people about why Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone
I
1.
know, I was telling them we need to do a follow-up where whoever
Yeah.
does Home Alone for them, we fight them over which one is better.
We come back and we're like, no. And this is why.
That would be fun.
Absolutely.
Yes. I would recommend it. I think it's pretty universal here.
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
Do y'all have people on talking about movies that they say they would not recommend?
Absolutely.
Really?
Interesting.
In the 40s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the 40s, we do.
How did you
Or
rate
maybe
these?
recommend them to certain
To
people
certain people.
who love a certain actor or a certain age,
Ah, okay.
but not universal.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit. Some said, yeah, I would not recommend this to anyone.
Yeah. Interesting.
How did y'all get the rankings? Did you make them or you found them?
Yes, and yes, and yes.
Okay.
They keep moving.
Okay.
So as we go through these, we get feedback,
Ah.
and the rankings are fluid. And
Good
they
to
have been
know.
formulated as we, and we'll be the tiebreakers. But
Yeah. Good to know. Okay.
Right. So let's move on to what is your favorite holiday film?
Favorite holiday film of all time is The Holiday with Cameron Diaz
Okay.
and Kate Winslet and Jude Law and Jack Black.
Okay,
So good.
that is to come in the countdown.
Is
Just
it?
so you know.
Oh my god, I love that one.
It's a check mark
Very
by that one.
popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that
We
one.
hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you, Stephen, what's your favorite?
It's a Wonderful Life. It's one of my favorite movies, period. I think
Classic.
that is one that you could watch. And I think before it aired every year on TV at Christmas, people didn't even necessarily consider it a Christmas movie and would watch it whenever it was available in movie theaters. But to me, that one is one that doesn't need the Christmas spirit bump to be an all-timer. It's just a really great movie.
I'm not surprised
No.
at all. And of course, that one is higher too.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
to come.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
So, Stephen, would you like to promote anything?
I mean, if you live in the city of Austin, Texas, come see great old movies at the Paramount Theater. We play them every summer and every Christmas. And I don't know if I'm guessing y'all are going to be rounding into the top 10 by this Christmas. Is that the plan? Or
that's right.
Yep.
so probably some of the ones y'all are talking about at that time will be playing at the Paramount at that time. So you should come by and see them in an actual movie theater with lots of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if the lineup's out as we move through them, I will mention them.
Cool.
We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
But this is a weekly, so we'll just see how it plays out.
Cool.
And Ryan, is there anything you want to promote?
I agree with Steven. Yeah, come down to the Paramount. We've got shows for everyone. You can see any and everything here. So we love to see a full audience of people. So, yeah.
And if you're listening to this in October, which maybe would be if I'm doing my math right, but we also do a horror movie series, and one half of this panel loves horror movies, and we play a lot of them at the Paramount every year. So,
And it's really popular.
Yeah.
I'm not in the one half. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, so people are so accustomed to watching films at home or watching in a theater with 40 people with a recliner. But to go in a theater with maybe the State with 250 people or the Paramount with 750 people, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And everyone's into it. Oftentimes, these folks know the lines. It's fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's always a good time for sure. It's definitely a different feel than just sitting at home.
and an
Makes your
over
popcorn taste better.
100-year-old theater, too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
the ambiance adds to the movie.
yes.
Absolutely.
Always.
I agree. All right. Thank you for joining this discussion of our 14th ranked film, Home Alone 2. Please like, follow, and comment on this podcast.
Yes, please share and spread the word about Holiday Film Countdown. Thank you, Stephen and Ryan, for joining us. Thanks to all of our listeners. Next week, we're moving on to our 13th ranked holiday film, which will take us to London.